Welcome back. My name is Steve-O32, current drummer, back in my basement. I haven't posted in a while. I think I just needed a little break. A couple weeks ago, some of the world's top comedians performed at the Riyadh Comedy Festival. Some of my favorite comics, Dave Chappelle, Louis C.K., Bill Burr, they all went, and they're taking a lot of heat for it. But I'm not here to moralize. There are plenty of people already doing that. But when they said there are rules to what you can and cannot say, it reminded me of a time when I was on tour with Sum 41 and we found ourselves in a similar situation. Our first time going to China. Up until that point, and without us actually ever considering it, we'd only ever played in democracies. We'd never been told we could or couldn't say or play whatever we wanted on stage before. And then we got the offer to play 2 shows in China, one in Beijing and one in Shanghai. And we said, sure. Like, we didn't even question it. We said, of course, we'd love to go. We wanted to play everywhere. But along with the offer came an unusual and very official looking document directly from the Chinese government. And in writing, they had some very stern stipulations. No talking about the government, no politics, no swearing. And here's a list of songs you can't play. And that list was basically most of the songs our fans wanted to hear. And then there was a second list of songs we could play. Here's one thing you might not know about bands. We don't actually know how to play all the songs in our catalog. You might record a song in 2001 and then never play it ever again. And here we are in a situation where the Chinese government is telling us we can only play those songs. Fortunately, In Too Deep made the cut. In fact, that was pretty much the only song anyone knew that we were allowed to play. At the end of the day, we agreed to do the show and we figured we'd just get through it one way or another. So we finally land in Beijing, we meet the promoter, there's interpreters, there's an entire entourage, and they take us sightseeing. We go to the Forbidden City right in the center of Beijing. It was very cool. And then we head to the hotel, and I want to go to the gym. So there's this big fancy gym, and it is completely empty. I go in, and a 60-year-old bald guy in a suit follows me in, lights a cigarette, and starts reading the newspaper. And it's just me and him sitting across from each other, and I'm like, he's my chaperone. We weren't allowed to go anywhere without someone watching us. And then when I go to my room, I log onto the internet, and there is no internet. It is highly controlled. There is no porn. What am I supposed to do? Use my imagination? It doesn't work anymore. Anyway, later on, we go to the venue and the promoter keeps asking me what time we're gonna go on stage. And I say, I don't know, around 9-ish? And she said, exactly what time are you going on stage? The Beijing police need to know. And I was like, why do the Beijing police need to know? And she said, the Beijing police need to know everything. We'll be on at 9:15. So then after that, our tour manager comes over and he says, there's an army guy standing next to me at front of house, and there's an interpreter standing next to that guy. If you play any of the songs from the banned list or you say anything against the government or anything they'll find offensive, all of the lights will come on and everyone will get arrested. The promoter was terrified because she didn't know what we were gonna do. We'd just get deported, which probably wouldn't be a picnic, but we had no idea what would end up happening to her. So anyway, we play the show. I think we played In Too Deep 3 times. And for our first time in China, it was actually really well attended. I think there were like 5,000 people there. But here's the thing, they were all sitting and they were completely silent. And there were stern looking police lined along the front and the sides of the crowd. One kid did stand up from his chair and right away a security guard went right in his face with a flashlight and made him sit down. It was stressful, but we got through it. Afterwards, we all went out to dinner and it is probably one of the best meals I have ever had in my life. I think we all just needed to blow off steam. I remember the promoter said to me, don't worry, Shanghai will be more relaxed. It wasn't. It was the exact same vibe. Afterwards, we flew to Taiwan, which, as of now, still has a separate government. And that felt familiar again. There was no blocked internet. There were no banned songs. We could say and play whatever we wanted. It was the only time in our career that I ever experienced something like that. And I'm glad we went. Going to China was cool. I would love to go back. But as a Westerner who's used to taking free speech for granted, it was surreal being in a society where that was not the norm, like at all. So when I saw the Riyadh Comedy Festival story, I thought if Sum 41 had been invited to play a festival in Saudi Arabia, what would we have decided to do? These kinds of offers come up for entertainers sometimes, and there are these awkward decisions that need to be made. Having said that, I actually just got back from the North Korean Comedy Festival. Here's the clip from my set. Hey, all right. First time in North Korea, our flight was so delayed we took off at 10 a.m., landed in 1953. They call North Korea the Hermit Kingdom. If I had a haircut like that, I wouldn't want to go out either. They say Kim Jong-un has a Napoleon complex, but from where I'm standing, it looks like he's got a Neapolitan complex. Forget Seoul, looks like the dude's about to invade a Baskin Robbins. What's that? Oh, all right, that's my time. I want to thank you all so much for watching. My name is Steve-O32. Ika, folks.